Hi guys, so today I got a new shipment from Mariner, and over here I got 5 new Mariner bowls to present to you, plus one from Yuwen just for comparison purpose. So if you have been following my Facebook page, you probably know that nowadays every bowl would come to me first so that I can inspect them, identify any problem, correct them if necessary before I ship them out to my customers. So when you receive them, it is probably flawless. Alright. So let's start with this one here. This one here is the Mariner Ottoman bow. It's a Turkish style bow. The length from tip to tip strung is 48.5 inch. The rated max draw length is 31, but very typical of most Turkish bow, it kind of draws like 29-30 inch. In this case, I feel that at 30 inch, the stacking is pretty strong. I would not consider 31 to be its max. I would say 30 is more making sense. So I'm gonna just draw this bow. Oh, by the way, this one here is a 55 pound at 31 inch or 44 pound at 28. So before I draw, let me just have a look. Typical Mariner style back of the sear, belly of the sear. It has a bridge, very small bridge. So other than the Ottoman, only the Ming Dragon has a bridge. All the other model doesn't have a bridge. So typical Mariner style of handle. Okay, so I'm just going to draw and show you the profile when you pull it. Okay, I'm actually shaking here because towards the back, around like 29-30, it does stack. So very typical Turkish kind of feel. So previously, I have not promoted this model much because there is a problem with this model in my climate. The bow literally doesn't survive. It literally does not survive being tested in my range. So it's not like one, because one maybe just my luck, but you know, a couple of units and they all died. So there's definitely a problem with the previous version, and so after reporting to Mariner a few times over several years, finally he decided that okay, let's change the handle. So this one here is actually the very first unit where the mold has been changed. The handle shape is changed slightly, the limb shape is changed slightly. So I hope that this unit will actually survive, but only time will tell. I'll test this over several more days, and when I send it to my customer, I hope it will not come back to me. Right? No news is good news. Alright, so oh, by the way, let's compare with the Yuwen bow. So the Yuwen bow, this is the Yuwen Turkish bow. Now in this case, the one in my hand is actually the batch 2. The second batch does not have a steel core yet, so the handle is kind of light. So with the steel core, the handle is going to be a lot heavier. So lengthwise, both of these bows are the same at 48.5 inch. But okay, this is where I'm going to tell you the benefit of this particular model. So this bow here, the Yuwen bow, okay, it doesn't feel like the typical Turkish. So typical Turkish is stacks at like 29-30 inch. This one here is actually really smooth all the way to 31 inch. So I'm gonna show you now. It doesn't feel stacky, limited only by my draw length. It feels smooth all the way. There's really not much resistance fighting me. All the way, it just feels smooth. Okay, so it's not even light. This one here is like a 38 pound, 28 inch. So it's probably like 48 pounds at 31 approximately. That's what a typical weight would be. Of course, I didn't check the weight, but anyway, let me show you how it looks like from here. Here, the handle. But in the next batch, the third batch where we have steel core, there will be changes to the tip here, The bridge also changed. What else? Steel core in there. The string is changed, so it's gonna be more efficient. Like this one here at 10 grain per pound, when I shoot it, the hand shock is like barely. So with the steel core, I believe 9 grain per pound, no shock. Okay, but let's look forward to that. So the next one here, well, this one is just a Ming Moon, a typical Ming Moon modified full carbon. So typical mariner style of sear. It doesn't have a bridge. Okay, this is Ming Moon 4, typical mariner handle. So in this case, it's a 55 pound 31 inch and a 45 pound at 28. So this one here is a modified carbon, so it does have a bamboo core. So I'm just gonna pull it back and show you how the profile looks like when you draw this bow. It is pretty heavy. So actually, in terms of smoothness, I would say this bow is very similar to the Turkish just now from Yuwen. This Yuwen bow here feels very similar to this Ming Moon here. And you can see the length difference. Even though this is shorter, this actually feels about as smooth as this one, whereas the Mariner Ottoman is more stagnant because it's also a shorter bow. Now, okay, this one here is, in my opinion, the more interesting one to talk about. So this is a Hanwin bow. Okay, Hanwin 3. Have a look. Hanwin 3. Now, this one here, you would probably get tricked. Like, look at this. Like, okay, this is the carbon bow like the other two just now, right? No. So this one here is actually a standard. Okay, standard premium model, the standard glass like this. Okay, standard one like this, and another one. Okay, standard one just like this. Difference is, you see this one here. This one here. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna say about this one first. All right, this one here. You see, glass here, glass here. There's actually a carbon core, a thin carbon core right in the middle of the bow. Yeah, you see that? Okay, so this one is actually the same price as this version. All right, so what is going on? Basically, we moved this carbon core, the thin carbon core, towards the belly side, just underneath the glass. So that's why you see here. So, but of course, if you were to use the normal carbon, stabilizing carbon that we use for the thin carbon, it would be like just pure black, very ugly. So in this case, we actually made a small change. We use a 3K carbon under the clear glass on the belly side. Right, so it's glass here, and then a 3K carbon instead of a thin carbon under the belly glass. So this is actually just a standard premium clear glass with a thin carbon core, but placed on the belly side instead of in the middle of the sandwich. So it, from this view, yes, it does look like the 3K carbon. It almost looks similar to this, right? Looks almost similar. There is, however, a difference. So, I mean, fake is fake, right? So it is cheaper. It is cheaper. All right, it is cheaper that way compared to the true carbon bow. This has its own problem. So if you see from certain angle, okay, I'm gonna unstring it. I'm gonna unstring it, which is a lot more obvious to see in the camera. So because the carbon is underneath and glass is on top, even though it's bare pore glass, but glass is glass. You cannot fake it, right? Glass is glass and there's always gonna be some white streaks. So if I have the angle right, you will see those white streaks. And I'm gonna try my best to capture the streaks on the camera. Man, it's not that easy either. Oh yeah, I think I'm getting some of that. Do you see just now? Because the lighting is a bit difficult to capture, so under certain angle, man, those reflection. But yeah, you can kind of see, right? Yeah, finally I got it. Finally, you see those white streaks, those lines there? Yeah. So in person, it's actually a bit more obvious. It's more obvious. So because the angle when I show in the camera, the way I position the camera is to reduce reflection. So in person, that reflection is actually more obvious. And so when I look at it straight on, yes, it's 3K carbon. The moment I turn the angle, I see all those white streaks. So you can't cheat it. There is gonna be a little bit of those signs that it is glass on top of it. But for the price that you save, you can save quite a lot of money for that, because the full carbon version, the modified carbon or the full carbon, it is a lot more expensive than the thin carbon lamination. So you can save good amount of money there, and it still look almost the same, because unless you have a well-trained eye and you know about this fact, otherwise you won't know that this is a different version. Okay, so another one, let me show you. Oh, okay. So this is just a typical ready stock that I have. Normally for ready stock, I order them in either the basic or the premium model, either 35 pound or 40 pound at 28 inch. Usually the models that I bring in are Ming Moon and Warring States, because these are the two most durable model, at least tested here. Right? I cannot guarantee elsewhere, but here in Malaysia, I have no issue with these two models. I have more issue with other models. Okay, so this is the Warring States. This is like an Assyrian style of bow. So some people like it, like the 3 curve, right? 1 curve, 2 curve, 3 curve. Some people like this kind of model. It's actually super smooth. This bow is super smooth. Some people prefer like the Ming Moon style or Tatar style, like that. So, I mean, people ask me which one is better, but it's really more of a taste, subjective. Which style do you like? Do you like 5 curve? You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So between the Warring States and the Ming Moon, it's really about which shape do you like. You can get this one in a longer version, like the Ming Moon one and the Warring States one. They are like the same size. So the difference is really just the shape of the handle. Which shape do you prefer? Do you prefer a deflex one like this or a reflex one like this? So that's it. And okay, finally, let's come to this. Oh my god, this is massive. This is the Ming Dragon. So I really rarely, very rarely sell the Ming Dragon. So it just happened to be this customer picked this model, and I get to see some changes to it. So this one here is huge at 65 inches in length, and compared to the previous version that I had, I noticed that the handle actually has been changed slightly. So I can't show you here very well, but before this, the Ming Dragon that I had, if I put it on the floor, because the limbs are kind of like reflex, it kind of like go forward and turn around, kind of like you see like this Ming Moon here, it has this reflex part here. So if I put it on the floor, this part, this part and this part, it kind of like just sit on a flat surface, right? Just sits there, it can stand like this. But on this new Ming Dragon, it cannot stand. When I put it that way, the handle is protruding more than this side. It will actually flip on its side. It cannot stand. So it means that the riser here or the handle here has been actually pushed back. So that's the change on the Ming Dragon. Very large bow. Some people like it, not me, not me. I don't really like this very big Sia because even though it's very smooth to draw, alright, it is very smooth to draw. Ooh, even though like this one here is like super heavy, it's 50 pounds and 28, which is heavier than all the others, 65 pounds and 36, but it actually feels smooth, like super smooth, smoother than all the others. Ooh, it's heavy but it's smooth. But this model require really heavy arrows, right? Very heavy arrows, and you may not be able to find suitable arrows. You have to make it yourself. It's gonna be a bit more troublesome when it comes to getting the correct arrow so that you don't blow your bow up. So I usually don't recommend a Manchu bow, right? But if you are a Manchu fan, yes, this bow is pretty awesome. Typical mariner grip, very narrow actually. For a bow of this size, this weight, this is a very narrow arrow pass. Very comfortable to hold. Physical weight, pretty heavy. This bow is pretty hefty. So see ya. Okay, see ya. You can see big bridge here, typical of Manchu bow. Right. So yeah. So those are the 5 bows that I present to you.